evening. We're going to go ahead and call the April 28th, 2026 Board of Zoning Appeals to order. Could I get roll call, please?
Tyson Brooks.
Here.
Bill Dowdy.
Here.
Tracy Davis. Jeff Kyle.
Here.
Tim Moore.
Here.
In your packets, you have a copy of our March 17th meeting. Take a peek at those, see if there's any corrections. If not, I need a motion to approve.
Motion.
I have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, right hand. Opposed, same sign. Do we have any old items, sir?
Nope, we do not.
Okay. In your packets, we do have several new items this evening. I believe 4. So our first item to this evening is B260405 Lancaster Township, southwest quarter of 2227 North 12 East. Damon and Brittany Ho Plaza LLC request a special exemption to allow an 8-foot by 40-foot shipping container for storage. Property is located at 2205 North State Road 1, Bluffton, Indiana 46714. Property is currently zone B3. Do we have a representative for that? All right. Why don't you come on up and state your name and tell us what you want to do? It's a lot of pressure without pizza.
Jeez, this will be the last one I come to.
Hard crowd. Hard crowd. Go ahead and state your name and then,
Tammy Hirely.
hi, Tammy.
Hi. I'm here for Vivian and for Tom because they had something going on at IU tonight. They're wanting to put a storage unit at the end of the building, which it's the north end. And he already has the parking lot chained off where it's going to sit. And so he said basically I just needed to be here so you could let me know if it's a yay or a nay. I mean, that's pretty much, I know that they own the whole plaza and the very last building beside the nail salon. Somebody is wanting to rent that out for 3 years and that's full of storage stuff right now. And so that's why they're wanting to put the container there at the end of the building.
Okay. So board members, we did talk with the Bluffton Fire Department, and they did review the drive section is not part of a fire lane, so they were okay with closing it. In the case, traditionally, when we've done special exceptions, allows storage units in the B3 zoning district, we've done some sort of screening or prep work in improving them so that they do not stand out. This being visible from State Road 1, I think it would be fair for us to potentially consider some sort of screening that would.
So it's going to be on the north side of that that Rent-A-Center building there.
Privacy fence or something like that, that would be around the building.
Is there any paperwork that they have to do to cut off that drive access?
No, there's nothing that they need that for. So if it was a fire lane, it would be required to stay open,
Yep.
but it's not.
We would need several things.
Okay.
Approving a shipping container is pretty dicey, especially if it's visible. Okay, so the 3 things we're going to need, we're going to need the shipping container to be painted and free of defects.
Okay.
Number 2, we want it enclosed with a fence taller than the container.
Like at facing Highway 1.
Enclosed.
At the end of the whole thing would be
Enclosed.
enclosed? Okay,
Yep,
okay.
So that means there would be a gate on the
Yeah.
backside?
that would be the 3rd item.
Gate would be on the backside.
So enclosed with a fence taller than the container. And then access to the container would only be from the rear side of the property.
Okay.
So now here's the weird question. Can you text them contact them now and see if they are
Okay with all of this?
okay with all of that, and if they are, and if they agree to that, is that kosher to approve with those conditions?
Gave her permission to speak for her.
Correct.
Yeah, I signed the paper that I would be here for them.
That's fine. So,
Go ahead and do the public hearing part. And,
okay.
yeah, if you want to try to reach out to them.
Yes, I can. I
Okay.
can try and get a hold
Yep,
of them.
why don't you do
okay?
that?
Yep, that'd be
Can
fine.
I just step out in the hallway?
Absolutely, Tammy, no
All right,
problem.
thank you.
Yep.
I wish there was a pizza place outside.
Okay, with Tammy stepping out to contact them with those conditions, it is now time for the public comment for this petition. Is there anybody from the public that wishes to speak to this one? I'm gonna get a crickets thing, just to play the cricket.
This is the sound.
I'm gonna get a soundboard for crickets. I just think it's gonna be. Okay, if no one from the public wishes to speak to this, I'll close the public portion of B 260405. I do have a note, I don't know if this matters, Susie, but on the packet for the petition, it says B 260506, so there's a little bit of a typo on that. Yeah, it should be 05.
0004, yeah.
It should be 260405.
I have it up.
Yep, thank you. Yeah, I was digging it through the packets too for it. How's everybody doing out there? Good? Good. Just trying to fill the awkward silence, you know, it's just. I'm glad, makes me happy. Anybody been to the Zianos yet, or it's not Zianos. Salvatore's, that's it.
So can I get a
I saw the parking lot was packed, yeah.
recap of the commitments or conditions?
Yeah, there's 3 conditions that we're requesting. That the container be painted and free of defects. Those would be our conditions for approval. Enclosed fence taller than the container. Yes, ma'am.
I'm not gonna be able, they both have their phones off. Their son is having his White Coat ceremony at IU University.
Oh, my, yeah.
And that's why they couldn't be here, so they have shut their phones off. Both went to voicemail.
Okay.
So I don't know when they'll get a hold of me.
And item 3 would be access to the rear of the property. So in a case like this, move to continue,
No, I'd say that we make the decision.
okay?
We know what we would approve. They
Okay.
They don't want that.
Then they do these things. If not, they get a hold of you and tell you they're not gonna do it.
Yep. Yep.
Or they just don't do it.
Okay, they don't have to get back with you or nothing.
To get a permit?
Yeah, they would have,
Okay.
They have to get a permit to
Okay.
move forward with it.
correct. So
All right.
they'll be aware of it. So, yeah, board members, I would say that if you were going to make a motion on this one, that you would include those 3 conditions if you're doing a do pass on this situation.
Just to confirm, the rear side of this would also be the east side.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
That is correct.
Can we specify what type of fence? Instead of being a chain link fence, it's gotta be a wooden fence?
They need a privacy fence.
Privacy.
Fence style.
Yeah, but you would just add the word privacy to that. I'm sorry, sir. The public comment has been over for 23.2 seconds. Ready for a motion?
Well, I got some more questions.
That's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who's gonna go out and make sure that those 3 things are met?
That'd be our
Who-
office.
That's your office
Yep.
does that?
They double check all those
It does-
things.
It doesn't go into the grass then? It will be on the asphalt right there
Yeah,
next
it's
to
all
it?
asphalt right
It's
there.
not gonna, it's gonna fit there?
Yeah, and a matter of fact, the asphalt basically goes to the property line. They're very close to it on the sides.
And the things that are stored in the old building,
It's supplies and that for the nail shop and
So it's going to go into that container.
into the container.
And it's not going to be, oh, someone's moving, I'm going to put in a couch and
No.
things like that. It's strictly business
It's
only?
all business stuff. Yeah, Tom keeps parts and stuff over there too because they own apartment complexes. And so he has to go check filters and change filters. I do the
So
inspections.
the inspection of apartments is going to be in that container along with
Not
nail
everything,
stuff?
just like his filters for the furnace. And that's what he's storing in this building right now that they want to empty out so they can rent it. The space.
Jeff, shipping container's 8 feet wide,
By 40?
and this width of the drive is 18.6.
Okay, okay.
So there's
I
there's
just want to
plenty
make
of
sure.
room to
Yeah.
go on the sides, walk around it.
And we have one more container in the city, in Bluffton. Do we have any else around the county besides another one in Bluffton?
There are several.
Yeah.
Many of them were installed prior to when our ordinance started requiring them to have permits.
Okay. And the reason why I was asking that is I just have a little concern of the way they're going to look if we keep continuing to have,
Yeah,
these containers all over the place, that I want to make sure that it's still Parlor City, not Container City.
yes, I
That's
agree.
a whole issue that I've got with this.
I agree. I think that's why we want it handled more like a dumpster enclosure, so that the dumpster isn't the thing that you see.
So if we would do this tonight and approve it,
Yep.
each case will be different and might not get approved if they want it.
That is correct, yeah. So it's case by
It's not,
case.
it's not one, do it for one, do it for all. It's case by case by case.
But it does create a possibility of them getting approved if they have a place to put them. That makes sense like that.
Right. Yeah, I just want to make sure I got that under, because I don't want to see
Yep.
containers all over town, and
Yeah,
make sure that they're, and when they're put out, and they get approved for this, and it's put out, and they do all the three things that we want, is there follow-up in a year or two to make sure that it's continuing that way, that the paint's not falling off, or the fence is falling down, or anything like that?
so that would, yeah, we would be able to actively enforce the board's conditions.
Okay, all right.
That would only be if somebody complained.
No, so in the case of an approval like this would be something that we could actively monitor.
I am. Jeff, you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just had those have been on my mind for about a month now, and I just want to make sure I understood everything.
Nope.
No, those are good questions. They're valid.
I would say we'd make a motion with the 3 conditions to approve as said.
Including that it's a privacy fence.
Yep. Adding to the second condition that the fence be a privacy fence. So we have a motion to approve the 3 conditions as stated with the amendment of the privacy fence. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, right hand. Opposed, same sign.
All right.
Does she need to know anything else?
No, so they just need to make sure they're okay with that. And then once when they're ready to move forward with it, they just need to come in and get their permit. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And he comes here to get the permit.
Yeah, they come to our office, which is right upstairs. Yep.
All right, so I'll let him know all this tonight.
Okay, thank you. Brian.
Thank you, Tammy. Yeah, no, you don't need to stick around for the show. You're
I
fine.
feel so bad about the pizza, I just can't.
No.
See, I started
They're gonna
something.
go have pizza now. That's, we planted the seed and,
I cooked tonight.
Oh, no.
Fried rice and chicken.
hey, that's all right too.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tammy.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 2 this evening is B 260406 Harrison Township, southwest quarter of 17-26 north-13 east. Daniel and Sarah Jones request a variance to increase the size allowance for an accessory structure from 1,500 square feet to 2,352 square feet. Property is located at 2701 Southeast Wabash Street, Veracruz, Bluffton, Indiana 46714. Property is currently zoned R1. Do we have a representative? Come on up, state your name, and tell us what you want to do.
I'm Dan Jones. I'm in the process of building a pole barn on my property.
You've started.
Yeah,
Okay.
And I would like to add lean-tos to both sides of it that would be above and beyond the 1,500 square foot
I see.
allowable.
So what you built is legal, and now you want
correct.
to, I got you. That's
Yeah.
it's good. Sometimes we get that.
He has a
I,
permit?
I made sure that, I talked to Mike about that.
Yep,
Attaboy.
we're doing good.
We're doing good. Sometimes we're like, well, it's already done. We're like, oh,
We have a problem.
oh, Lord. What's the size of your property?
It's over 2 acres, and I'm in the process of buying some more land behind me from my neighbor.
When you're successful, would it be rough estimate? Close to
About
3?
close to 3, I would say.
3. I'm not on TikTok. I'm on Maps. I'm looking at your place.
Okay.
Lean-tos would be off of which sides of the building?
If you're looking
You can come
off
up
the
here if you
road,
want. Get your steps in for the evening. There's your building, right?
yeah, it would be on this side
Okay.
and then on the back side there.
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep.
And what side are you acquiring property?
Towards the back side.
Towards the back side.
Where
I
all
gotcha.
the,
And the plat committee approved it, the petition to add property to that.
You got plat blessing. That's great. Mike, in the past, when we've had situations like this and a lot that's this size, have we had issue before?
No, we have approved them in the past when the residentially zoned lot has been a larger size and the building won't be out of place based on the acreage. There also is comparable buildings in the area.
So you don't see any issues?
These be open, lean-to?
yeah.
We're in Veracruz.
How close is that gonna get you to the property?
It'll be setback compliant. They're required to have a 5-foot setback in the residential zone. And they're giving themselves more room than that.
Nice.
So there shouldn't be any conditions we have to add on this
I
one, is
don't
there?
believe so.
We can't do a motion yet. We have to do public.
Yeah, just checking on that one.
Dan, how long have you been there?
Since 2007?
Did you buy it from Coulter's?
No, be one guy after that from the Minix.
Okay. Does it still have that spiral staircase that you can't get anything into the second story?
No. No, they took that out. The couple
Okay.
before me took that out, and it was probably even worse than the spiral staircase, what they put in there.
Oh, boy.
It was dangerous.
All right.
So now it has a third set of staircases.
Good on you. That was rough. I remember that.
I would love to see some pictures of that, though, what it looked like.
Spiral straight up into the oblivion. Like you couldn't do.
And then to the basement, too? Or just for,
Yeah. Yep. It was full.
I can't even imagine how that was.
It was interesting. Board members, sorry, I digress. Any further comments for Dan? All right, you can have a seat and we'll get a public comment here and go from there.
Thank you.
Would anybody from the public like to make comment on B 260406? Go ahead and state your name for the board since we are unfamiliar with who you are.
Yeah, I'm a guy, had surgery and had cancer on me. I'm Harry Bumgarner. I'm here to support him because my building is 3,830 square feet, and we're neighbors. So,
Thank you.
yep,
Thank you, Mr. Bumgarner.
yep.
It's gonna butt right next to Harry's, isn't it? Yep. Nice. Well, you have the support of your closest neighbor. Anyone else from the public? Okay, I'll go ahead and close the public comment portion. Board members, it doesn't appear to be any issues or problems and no conditions, so when you're ready to make your motion, I'm ready to hear it.
I would make the motion we approve as submitted.
We have a motion to approve as submitted. Do we have a second? I'll second. We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor, right hand. Opposed, same sign. Do you need anything?
Yep, so we're just ready to go ahead and do the next part of the permit, and we'll go from there. Okay. There is
Congrats,
a-
guys.
There is a 30-day appeal period. Since nobody's spoken in opposition, it's unlikely that would happen. There is a document we'll have you sign when you come in to get the permit. Just notifies you of that. So, we good to go, okay?
Thanks, guys. Okay, item number 3 is B 2604 Lancaster Township, the northwest quarter of 2727 North 12 East. Edward and Cheryl Jean Mason request variance to reduce the side yard setback from 5 feet to 2 feet for a shed. Property is located at 125 Hickory Knoll Drive, Bluffton, Indiana 46714, and the property is zoned R1. Do we have a representative for this one?
Yes.
Why don't you come on up and state your name?
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about what you want to do.
Edward Mason and my wife Cheryl is here also. We would like to put a new shed on our property, and as it reads, decrease the side yard from 5 feet to 2 feet. We're increasing the shed size from a 12 by 16 that we currently have to a 16 by 20. And we'd like to put the extra 4 feet on the south side of the property, which is, butts up to Rittmeyer's property. And as you can see, Cam and Alyssa are okay with the property being reduced on their side like that. It still leaves room for a mower to get through. And I currently have a 4-foot John Deere zero turn, and I measured it, and it plenty of room for a 4-foot mower. And Cam's got a push mower, but for all the years I've lived there, I've mowed on my side of that fence. Kind of inherited that property, so to speak, for the upkeep. Not to pay the taxes on, but just for the upkeep.
Right?
Yeah, that's basically the project in a nutshell. We just want to put a bigger shed and reduce the side yard.
So
Yoder's out east of town are the ones that are going to bring the shed in and assemble it on site because they can't bring a completed shed into the yard with no room on either side. On Hickory Knoll and on Willowbrook Trail, those houses, including ours, that are located on the corner there, the lot sizes are all kind of pie-shaped in a way. They're not rectangles like the rest of them are. So therefore, it makes it difficult to get anything in on either side. Now, on the back, there's a 10-foot property easement, which everybody's aware of. Everybody's fence is back 10 feet off that imaginary line back there. And I think you have a survey of the property that I had done by McKinney's So just to make sure where everything was.
And then, Mike, to note, it'll be 2 feet on the closest side, but because of the angle of the property, it'll still be
It'll be much,
Three.
it'll be more than that, yeah.
Yeah.
3 or 4.
3 or 4.
Somewhere in that range.
And then there's nothing on the other side of the property line.
Correct. The fence that is on the neighbors to the south, their fence runs at the angle that you would expect the property line to be, not at the angle of the property line. So it does make there look like there's more side
Yeah.
yard there than what there actually is.
Right.
I'm with you.
Yeah. So you can kind of see it on that survey. It goes more perpendicular to the.
Yeah, Cam's property there in the back, it doesn't show his width in the back, but the neighbors on his other side have planted shrubs actually on his property, so.
Yeah.
Shrubbery. Yeah, it makes, I understand.
Cheryl and I tried to do the right thing before we even came up to talk to Mike. I wanted to make sure we had a property line survey done.
Is it flagged out there, like,
Yeah,
okay.
they've got stakes and little orange things sticking up.
It'll be super clear for Yoder when they come out to put it in the right spot.
Right, because I'm going to string a string from the front along Hickory Knoll Drive back to the back property line stake, and then they can do all their measuring off that.
You have dotted your i's and crossed your t's, sir. Well
I've got the
done.
white flags to mark where it's going to go, so the city can come out and do their utility.
Perfect.
Okay,
Board members? All right, sir, well, you can step back and
all right.
get a public comment if there is one. We're striking out on the public comment.
Let's say something just for fun.
I like vanilla ice cream.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll ceremoniously open it up for public comment at this time. And now I will close public comment at this time. There are no special considerations on this one either, correct, Mike?
I don't believe so. I think
No conditions,
with
board
the
members?
property being surveyed, I think we're in a good shape.
Yeah, they're sitting on a good spot here. Need a motion, please. Okay, we have a motion to approve as presented. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Ooh, we got a tie. Now you got a rock, paper, scissors.
He can have it tonight.
All right, gentlemen's here. So, okay, we have a motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor, right hand? Opposed, same sign.
I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned 30-day
Yeah.
wait period.
So in the case where there is a contested BZA case, there's a 30-day period after today's meeting when somebody could officially appeal the decision of the board. Since nobody was here to exercise their right, it's highly unlikely anything would happen. So in that case, when you come to get your permit, we just have a document that you sign saying that you understand that you're getting your permit within that 30-day period. In the case where, say, that it was contested and there was people that objected to it, then there would be a different discussion at that point. Does that make sense?
wait 30 days for Yoders?
No, you can get your permit tomorrow. You just will have we'll have a form that you'll fill out. Yep.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good night. Enjoy your pizza. Yeah, it did. Okay, item number 4 this evening, our last item, patiently waiting, is B 260408 Jefferson Township, the northeast quarter of 33-28 North 12 East. Luke and Lydia McConnell request a variance to reduce the rear and side yard setbacks. So this is 2 setbacks from 20 feet to 5 feet for a barn. The property is located at 6664 North State Road 1, Austin, Indiana. Property zoned to A1. You know the drill, sir.
Follow a pattern. All right. Yeah, so we currently have a barn in that location that is in not the greatest shape. We're looking to take that down and replace it with a new barn that's a little bit bigger. So the rear setback would be exactly the same as it is today for where the barn was located. We are looking to move a little bit farther to the north as well. Additional information is I've in process of purchasing an additional 15 feet to the north of us because of where the field and the grass meet up are not where our property line is. It's quite a bit off of that once we pulled the survey. So we're adding that in to make sure we have a little more room for that setback for what we're looking to do. But both the field owner and our neighbor to the other side are all in favor and have no objections at this point.
And with that, the official request is it's 10 feet with the additional
Yep.
property.
And you've secured the additional property?
We have whatever paperwork is in. I just gave it yesterday to them, and we're just in the legal deed process and whatnot.
Perfect. And do you have an official survey, or will you have an? Okay,
Yep, I've already submitted that.
perfect.
They reviewed May 7th at
Yeah.
that committee.
Oh, great. Blessings are flowing. I don't,
With the situation that the site has, I think we had talked, where's the septic system for the property?
On the south side.
Yeah, so we can't really do anything in the front of the home.
right.
So this would allow for plenty of space to maintain it around the whole park.
And I'm sure there are comparable buildings that have been done this way in Ossian, correct?
And this would fit well within the rural area here.
Absolutely.
It'll look nicer than the current barn that sits there, I would say, so.
That's not your pond though, is it?
No, it's not. That's the neighbor's pond. I know. We're friendly though, so we use
Nice.
it. Yeah.
That's perfect. That's good. Board members, any further questions? You don't have to get up. There's no more public, so do I even have to?
Yeah, you do, I mean, you should at least say it.
Runs in here at the last second.
If somebody, well, if somebody
There's no one
speaks.
there, I run out.
That's a-
That door. Okay, I'll go ahead and open it up for public comment on B 260408. Public comment is officially closed for this petition. Board members, I would like to hear a motion.
I would make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve as presented. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, right hand. Opposed, same sign. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Appreciate it.
And the same thing as I stated before, that they do have that appeal period, but you can get your permit within that. We just will have paper that you will fill out. So just be aware of that.
All right. Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Looks like other business is blank. And then advisory.
So I wasn't sure. This could be other business, this could be advisory. It could be director's comments.
Could be a little bit of
all of them.
Let's just sum her
Could be
up
all
and all, put them all in all
Yep.
categories.
So, just want to give a little bit more, a fuller, update in regards to bills that affect planning and zoning that were passed this year. So the first one, obviously got Tyson's, ire going on. So there's a bill in regards to shooting ranges, but it's actually mostly focused on removing communities' ability to limit gun sales in retail sporting goods stores. So say a Cabela's or a Sports Warehouse. There are some communities that would approve that use and then require them to get a special exception to have gun sales. So It is a thing in certain communities in Indiana, so this would not allow that to happen anymore, so that if it is a permitted use, it doesn't require another approval. It also sets some standards for indoor shooting ranges, which really isn't an issue, more of a construction item to that effect. So just to note about that and set some standards for where you could do, like what neighborhoods this exemption works in. And it's basically in business areas and not in areas that would have residential uses in them.
Yeah, you can't, like at Midwest Shooting Center, you can't hear them shooting and you're in the lobby.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Then the next one had to do with local government appointments. So just something to note, that if you, boards of all types, not just plan commissions and BZAs, but all appointed body boards, as long as the person that appointed you is still in office, that the state decided that they're at will appointments, so that they could remove without cause before there was a cause that had to be approved. So just to note that, hope that it isn't anything that actually ever happens. But it does protect against the issue if somebody would change office and then they come and want to remove somebody, then that cause situation exists. So somebody can't have a change in elected officials and then do that. So it's kind of oddly written and kind of oddly focused, but it is something that we just need to be aware of in that
So
process.
an appointee can be
Yeah.
removed at any time by the current person.
By the current body, so say for example, in your case.
I'm an
you're appointed By
appointee.
the commissioners.
Correct.
So the commissioners, as long as all three of them are the same people that appointed you,
They
then
can
they
just-
could remove by cause. But if somebody changes, then they have to follow the original process, which is kind of like an appeal process, and they have to show cause and stuff like that.
Well, I'm gonna have to behave a little better from now on.
But, so that was kind of an interesting bill, got a lot of discussion, but it did move forward. We talked a lot about the 1001 Housing Matters bill, that, good or bad, got gutted before it made its way to the governor's desk. But we do have a job to do this year, which is to have a public hearing to discuss rule changes to help with housing affordability development in the community. So it's stuff that we have to take a look at. There's also a robust reporting requirement that we don't believe that we can fully comply with.
I agree with that.
So that is going to be very interesting. We're actually working across with all communities in Northeast Indiana to come up with a set way that we're going to report. And also working with the Mayors and Commissioners Caucus and their liaison to the State House to potentially work on changes in the future to try to get it focused on stuff that we can actually apply for. And some of the stuff we kind of noted in our review that they actually already get. And we would just be sending them redundant data that maybe they're already getting from the assessor's office or another place. So one of the things would be like the median sale prices. That's already in the tax information that they send to the state on an annual basis. So those are things that we're going to have to focus on. There's also going to be discussion whether or not we would want to update our permit fees this year as the change rule goes into effect, where you can only do it every 5 years, and it's set by the inflation rate. So there are things that we need to look at and review and make sure that we're in the right spot.
Are we leaning towards an increase?
I don't know, and but we do
What's our
need to-
current fee?
Well, it depends. So like for permits, it's $40 for under 500 square feet, and $60 for something that's over. For a BZA petition, it's 125, and then 50,
Legal ad 50
yeah.
and sign 15.
So it depends on what the goal is, but if we follow this, it's based off of the expenses that are required to do the work. So
Right.
you have X amount of petitions a year, which costs the board X amount and the staff X amount of time, and you can figure it out. There's nothing wrong with the rule. It actually is good because it gives a way to calculate. It's just whether or not we want to do it now or if we
And
want to.
looking to what the fees would be in 5 years.
Yeah, and trying to figure out then, because that, if there is a need to go above that amount, then that is something to discuss. But
Yep.
we only bring in about a little over 20% of our expenses a year through fees, so it's not like I think they're worried that people are making profits, and we are making not that, so.
Yep.
But that is something that we would take a look at. We don't really have, some of the stuff in the bill doesn't really affect us. They're not items that we have. They do create a definition for accessory dwelling unit. That we'd have discussed that. Does not require us to adopt that rule, but it just states that in the Indiana Code section, accessory dwelling unit means that. But we don't have to necessarily put that in our ordinance. Our ordinance is actually much more easier, more lenient than that rule is. So, but in the case, if they would continue to add, like, oh, you need to allow us accessory dwelling units, this is what they're asking, would be stating. But it was something that got left in there, and I think it would probably be used in a later date, but they took the teeth out of why that was defined. We don't have any structural concerns with the class 1, class 2 structures.
Okay.
The compensatory storage requirement were well within the limits that they're shown there already. And a lot of the things they're originally asked us to do, our ordinance actually already did. So, we're in good shape on that.
I'm assuming a lot of other places did not.
That is correct. This was really focused on some issues coming out of Northwest Indiana. That's where the bill's author was from. And then a lot of people were focusing on some of the donut communities as well that had some greater requirements.
That makes sense.
So,
Yep, I get it.
but it's kind of an outlier. I mean, when reviewing our Northeast Indiana communities, there's some communities that this affects more than others just by the way that they decided to regulate. So, this is something that we have to take a look at. So if you get a chance, that's pretty comprehensive list of what the impacts and different thoughts and feelings on it. So definitely something for you guys to take a look at as we decide when we're going to move forward with that. And then the
Well,
last.
Real quick.
Yeah, yep,
It seems like House Bill 1001
yes.
is going to be, the way it looks now, a lot less work than what it started to be
Yes.
for us.
I agree. That,
Okay.
yes, it is gonna be more of it is gonna require us to do some things, but it's not gonna require
A
us
major
to
overhaul.
choose, to opt out or to amend ordinances or
Gotcha.
we need just to look at it and report back to them what we did or didn't do. I don't believe that this topic is done, and I believe that it will be another item in the next session, so just to note that. We have House Enrolled Act 1210, which really is not something that affects us all that much. It creates some definitions for short-term rental, that'd be like Airbnb, manufactured home, mobile home. Those things we don't directly regulate right now, so we're not over-regulating them, which was one of the things that this was trying to focus on. So just a note on that. There also is one bill that's not in this, which is the one that created the requirement for the Airport Authority Overlay District, which that bill is uniquely three very weird things meshed together, which is why a lot of people weren't focusing on it. So it said that a homeowners association can't restrict the flying of American flags. So that seems to be involved in planning and zoning a lot, not at all. And then the other thing was about license plate readers and the restrictions in regards to that. And then in the very end of the bill, there was a requirement that, oh yeah, if you have a public airport, you need to do an overlay district. So all of a sudden it became a zoning bill, even though none of the other topics had anything to do with it. So it was a very interesting thing, but is probably oddly enough, probably the most impactful thing that we'll be doing.
Yeah, it'll mess with us.
Yeah. So the 5-mile buffer around the Fort Wayne International Airport reaches to the southern side of Ossian. So most of the, Ossian and north is in that area. The way it'll work, they've been doing it in Allen County for several years now and actually established this overlay district. So this has been in works there. Obviously, you've seen a lot of development around the airport. It doesn't stop development. It acts for certain pieces of development to be done differently. The biggest thing is ponds. So they want them designed a certain way. They want large rock riprap to stop from avian birds from hanging out in it. So that those are the things that they're looking for when they get closer to the airport. They have glare concerns that they want to design. But you still see like the new Franklin Electric building and some other stuff there that obviously was done inside the most restrictive zone around an airport. So that is what we've been working on. We've already talked with them about it and also with Allen County's planning department in regards to how they work with that process. So we believe that in development plans, when somebody would bring a project that would affect, they would get a pamphlet that would tell them what they need to do. They would contact them just like they would contact NDOT or some other approval authority, and then go from there, get their blessing, and then come to us and prove that they've already got their blessing before they get a permit. So that is how we would hope to work with them on that. I think it's very doable. We just be adding that into our zoning map and to some other features. And that is all I have.
Do we have a meeting next month?
I will send an email to confirm. There could possibly be a petition turned in, but as of right now, there are no petitions.
And that's May 26th.
Yep.
Yes.
So possible May 26th.
Yeah, we'll let you know.
Put it on the calendar as a possibility. And if that is all, I need a motion to adjourn.
Moved.
I need a second.
Second.
All in favor, right hand.